Welcome to another Monday Mack. We're very excited to present our new single, Drinking in Work.
Drinking in Work.
You have to listen to the song. Before you listen to any of the songs we talk about today, you need to listen to our song so you know why we feel like we can talk about other people's music and share our opinions.
I agree.
So go listen to
Drinking
Drinking
Work's
in Work.
it's streaming out now. I could have used the Drinking Work today. It was a long one.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sometimes I should take my own advice.
John, I think we're doing something a little special today. It's not a new release radar. What are we reviewing today, John?
It's kind of a new release. It did come out on Friday, but we're doing a full album review on Noel Gallagher's new album, Council Skies. Um, Noel Gallagher, lead songwriter, lead guitar player, and sometimes lead vocalist of Oasis, one of the biggest band of the '90s, and one of our biggest influences ever, if it's not obvious, through our music. Even Drinking and Work, which is a Americana country bop, does have its Oasis vibes and some Oasis guitars. So um anytime they put out a full project, we're going to review it and new singles. So,
We
uh,
definitely are.
Matthew,
So
I was about to say, how
this
do you
time
want to do this?
is a little different. So there's been plenty of Monday Max where I've had notes and John doesn't have them. This one, John actually has notes. So John, I think you should start off. You have all your notes in order, right?
Yes.
All right. I think you should start off and start off with the so first song is I'm Not Giving Up Tonight.
So,
John, what did you think about this song?
real quick, I do want to say this isn't the deluxe version. On the deluxe version, there's 12 songs, and then cover like a Mind Games cover by John Lennon, which
I didn't
was
listen to that. I have the normal version. This is the version I listened to, just the
all right.
normal
That's the one
album
I
version.
reviewed. But real quick, the Mind Games covers, musically, it's perfect, but it's lacking that Lennon emotion. It was weird that he covered it because he should have put it like maybe a half step higher, so
Yeah,
his voice sounded like he was more passionate.
I
Anyway,
have an I have an opinion that I'll share after that could be why his cover of Mind Games may not emotionally have been up to standard because I have it ties into how I feel about the album as a whole.
okay, all
So
right.
I'm not giving up tonight. It's track number one. John, how do you feel about the song?
So my exact notes are: it's kind of charming, I guess. It's kind of charming. I guess it's a love song. I hate the term. Um, I don't know what I said there. I was very sloppy. Uh, oh, I hate the term child, which is like the tagline. That's what he's calling his woman.
Yeah,
Um, I just don't like that term. Rod Stewart does it. Rolling Stones do it. I think U2 does it, or has done it. I just don't like it. So that definitely took a couple points, like a quarter of points or whatever off. Um, but it also could be a little different to the older generation. So it is what it is. I don't prefer it. I think Darling would be a better. All right, I'm going into too much about the actual single lyric, but um, strings are very nice. Not crazy about the actual vocal melody. So I gave it a 6.2 out of 10.
so the only thing I kind of had strong on all these songs was my ratings. And one thing that I noticed about these songs were I didn't feel like any of them were very deep, even though they should be.
Yeah.
They felt they did not feel as deep as they should have felt. And I feel like that's this song suffered from that. Yeah, this was like a perfectly average Noel Gallagher song. Um, didn't really I think I was working out on my lunch break when I listened to the first eight songs on this album, and I was just like, this song was pretty good. So I gave it a 6.5. Um,
It's close.
I also agree with that. I think it's weird. I don't look at anyone I've ever been with and think, what's up, child, honey, child, ooh, baby, child. As U2 says that in The Fly in the
Yeah.
opening part. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
something
but
that different bands have used.
I think the difference is the character in the Fly that Bono is playing, which is why U2 is one of the best bands ever. The character that Bono is playing is speaking to the human race, basically. So he's talking
Yeah,
baby child. He's just talking to it's a blanket.
just the first thing that came in my head.
But I could think of you know, some examples, but we're not going to get into it. So yeah, we were pretty close on the first one. So number two was Pretty Boy.
I need to listen to the beginning of the song to even remember what it is.
Pretty Boy. So this was
Oh,
the
this
first
one,
single.
this one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
This was the
this
first
one,
single he
yeah,
actually put out. So
yeah.
how
So
do you go first since you're fresh on it?
all right, so Pretty Boy. Um, I feel like the drum, the fact that it has a digital drum track is different for him, and I do feel like the first like 30 seconds kind of get stuck in your head, but I feel like it's a super average Noel Gallagher song, and I give it like a 6.5. Yeah, for a single, his singles used to wow me. This song made me go,
First
"This isn't a
single
bad
too.
song."
First
Yeah,
lead single.
there's one song on this album I absolutely love at this point. Upon listening to it, like I've heard it maybe 3 times. Most of the
Yeah.
other songs I've only heard once. This is a song I heard twice,
Let's
and
see if ours matches up.
it still hasn't really done much for me. I gave the song it's in between a 6.5 and a 7. Like it's very
Pretty Boy,
maybe even a
6.5 and 7.
maybe even a 6.
So
I didn't feel very strongly about this song.
my notes were more like pretty boring. Song lyric wise is so vague that it's almost unintentional. Music is cool. Guitar is played by Johnny Marr. Um,
I think I knew that. I think you told me that before.
and it's just so long and it's repetitive
Yeah.
and it just does nothing for me. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, there's like I didn't feel the song at all. I usually feel Oasis in those songs, and even Liam songs. I kind of feel.
Yeah,
I feel like the emotion in Liam songs is just so superior to his emotion, but his actual songwriting is way better. That's why they need each other. Like they provide an element. Liam provides that element of passion that could take an old song to the next level. All these songs felt very drained. Some of my opinion, I have a lot of opinions about the album and Noel right now, so I'm going to kind of weave some of them in. This
okay.
album felt drained and uninspired. It felt inspired, but it felt like he wrote all these songs for somebody else. Personally,
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah,
Next
like
is "Dead to the World."
Pretty Boy would have been a really cool song for like the Eurythmics or something.
Yeah,
Um, all right, so three, Dead to the World. I'll say my notes first. First thought was Mercy, Mercy Me immediately. Um, because I think it's like the same exact chords, maybe.
yeah,
Um, or maybe it's not, but it just kind of reminded me of it for whatever reason. But this is the first song on the album I actually like. I love the
yes,
melody.
I agree.
The strings are gorgeous. And the vocals might be some of the softest vocals from either Gallagher brother I've ever heard.
Yeah,
It's really nice. I gave it an 8.2 out of 10.
yeah. I gave the song a 7.5 out of 10. Um, I felt this was a very optimistic song. Just kind of being able to like hear what he was saying a little bit. I didn't read the lyrics. Like I said, I was working out when I heard the song,
Yeah.
and this song kind of picked me up from the first two. If I'm like kind of,
And
you know,
it's funny,
that's
like
how I felt.
me knowing the lyrics, it's like opposite. Even I felt like it was more of a morbid song. It's definitely a more morbid song lyrically than the first two, but it
Mhm.
actually like it's just such a better song. than the first two. And it's one I probably won't listen to a whole lot because it's kind of bleak, but like it is a very nice song, and the strings are really something else. The strings on this song and a few others on this album are kind of like the um to a lesser extent, because the strings that were the on everything you've come to expect. The strings on
Yeah,
everything you've come to expect are fantastic. But
I felt the same way.
the songwriting's also a little bit better on that album. But this song is fantastic. I gave it an 8.2.
It's a very cinematic song.
Yeah.
Um, we're still talking about Dead to the World, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, Open the door, see what you find. This song was very like, you know how I felt about the song? I felt like this song was the perfect example of Noel Gallagher sitting on his couch because like his family went out to do something,
Yeah.
and he wrote the song because he had like a half hour to himself, and he was like, "Fucking right, this song's good enough to be on a fucking album," and he put it on the album, and that's exactly how I felt about the song. Like I felt like me and you sat down and we wrote the song, and then we said this isn't good enough for us, and we gave it to Noel Gallagher.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like we write some songs that are passable for most artists, and then we throw them out.
I agree.
But for this particular song, my first thought was crazy slapback on the vocals.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the first vocal, the first uh lyric, you hear it, it's so prominent. Um it's not bad, but but in the same perspective, it's jarring. Um but I said crazy that it sounds like a like a song that came out in summer, or it could be made for Christmas. It's very positive, but it's close to something the Wiggles would do. Nice overall, but lacking some bite, which isn't bad, but it's just softer than I'd want from Noel. But I did enjoy this one enough to give it a 7 out of 10.
I gave this song a 6 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10. Um, I think because it left me. It felt like a good song that had no emotion in it.
Yeah,
It felt like he was singing the song how someone told him he should sing the song, not because he actually felt it. Like he knew the right emotions to try to sing, but it kind of felt like he did like his acting wasn't good enough on it, and I didn't get that. It didn't feel special. When I listen to Noel Gallagher, I want something to. Usually, there's songs that make me feel special and they take me by surprise. Um, this song was just like, okay, this is another Noel Gallagher song. He likes playing his acoustic guitar, and he likes strings, and he wrote the song.
yep,
I felt like he wrote every song for a movie where the songs are way better than the movie, and he did it as a friend for a favor. And then the movie got scrapped, so he put them all on an album.
yeah.
This is definitely Noel Gallagher goes cinematic.
Well,
Definitely Noel Gallagher goes Shadow Puppets. The whole
and
album.
that leads us to the next song, trying to find a world. What's it called?
Trying to find a world that's been. Hold on, this is a long song title. Trying to find a world that's been and gone. I guess
All right,
gone. Part one.
so this is my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
I said beautiful intro. The song itself is an old prototype. Like chord progression wise, it's Wonderwall, Cast No Shadow, Talk
Yep.
Tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Um,
this one. That's right.
Absolutely wonderful. It's like the best Pixar song ever made. The strings almost made me cry bunch of times. Healed my nerve pain in my neck. It's so simple yet stunning. I gave it a 9.3 out of 10.
This song was definitely in the eights for me. This was like I gave the song an 8.5 out of 10. This was the first song I was impressed with. And the first song I was like, yeah, this is definitely good enough to be on any Noel Gallagher or Oasis album.
Yeah. I
This was the first song I very much felt. I very much felt.
inspired.
No, I didn't feel inspired, but I felt cool. He's finally there. That was my thought.
I just some context. The first time I heard this, I was hung over on my way back from my um work outing.
Hmm.
So, and which we'll talk about on Wednesday in more in depth
Yeah,
because there's some funny moments. But I was hung over and having a panic attack, and I had 2 hours to go left before I got home. And this song came on, and I suddenly was filled with so much emotion. I can't even explain like it was like hearing it's like hearing, um fucking a change is gonna come. Like first time I've heard that, it really blew me away. It's one of my favorite songs he's ever written. Solo.
it's a good song. What good music
Yeah,
does to you.
I love it.
All right,
Um,
next we have "Easy Now," my favorite song on the album.
really, you weren't when we
Listen, there's
first
something
listened
about this
to
song now. When I listened to it again today, and I listened to it twice today, and so much I was like, oh, oh, the love you made. Like it just it clicked. Something clicked today, and I don't know if it's my favorite. It's the one it's catchy enough to me that I liked it today. I was like, ooh, this is a good song. This feels like a Noel single.
yeah.
Um, I felt like I was a little bit more open to it today. Um, I gave this song. I'm, this isn't my favorite Noel album by any stretch of the imagination. I gave the song an 8.5 out of 10. Like if one day if we do a classic album review for What's the Story or like definitely maybe, or for that matter, maybe any Oasis album other than Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, even Chemistry, all the other ones, there's going to be a lot of 8 out of 10s. There's going to be a lot of 9 out of 10s and a lot of 10 out of 10s.
Yeah.
Um,
Does Oasis have a
this
perfect song?
does Oasis have a perfect song?
They have a couple. Then I think yeah, you're right. Don't look
I
back
can
in
name
anger.
I can name 15 perfect Oasis songs off the top of my head.
Really perfect.
Champagne Supernova, Don't Look Back in Anger, two perfect ones right
Yeah,
off the top.
Wonderwall's perfect.
Live
Live
Forever,
Forever.
Bring It On Down, perfect song. Change something about Bring It On Down, make it better.
No, you can't.
You can't, right? You
I
can't do it.
I gotta
You
look
can't
through them.
do it.
I think you're
Columbia,
probably right.
Columbia, Stop Crying Your Heart Out.
Yeah. All right. You
I'm
proved
out
your
of
point.
time. Now I'm just
I'm
going
out of
different
time.
albums. I'm just crisscrossing different albums. I just get excited to talk about
Slide
Oasis.
away.
There's so many. Slide Away. There's so many great Oasis songs that there's a lot of really great ones.
Yeah.
This song is like probably the fifth best song on Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. I give it an 8.5 out of 5 or an 8.5 out of 10. Easy now.
8.5 out of 5. It's killing it.
It's destroying the scale.
So
That's what I gave it.
I said very nice song. I think we reviewed this already, but in the context of the album, it works great after the last song. I forget the old rating, but let's say 7.7 out of 10.
This album's a lot better than the EP shit that we did before.
What do you mean?
When we listened to like 4 or 5 of the songs, like
Uh,
whatever selection of it was together, or whatever
yeah,
those songs were.
he put
You
out. He
know,
had like well, that one album I really don't like, Holy Mountain.
yeah, I mean, it's because he watched the Holy Mountain movie and he got a little deep. That's all it was. You
All
got
right,
to
so
remember, John. The older we get, the more you look at guys like, and you go, oh wow, he just stopped. He just really stopped growing in his 30s or 40s. Like
yeah,
the problem with I we'll move on. This is when I wrap it up. Council Skies Verona now, right?
yes,
I don't remember some of these songs. I don't remember, even though I listened to and I had real thoughts about. I don't
yeah.
know if that's a sign that maybe they're not as good. Like they're kind of forgettable.
Well, this is his second single, or maybe his fourth single, but it was still a single. Um, and I said it's like the Ballad of the Mighty Eyes, boring older brother. It's extremely uninspired. Shouldn't have been a single, and it
Oh
shouldn't
yeah.
definitely shouldn't have been the title track. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I forgot about the song, so I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
There She Blows.
Yeah, this one I'm still perplexed on. Because the first time I heard it, I didn't care for it at all, and then today in work I heard it, and I was like, I was dancing, and I was kind of enjoying it a lot more. Um, so because of my confliction, I gave it a 7.4 out of 5, out of 10.
This song was 7 out of 10 for me. Um, I thought it was cool for him. It felt like he was trying. It felt like he sat down with a different dude and wrote a song off a jam with him, and I kind of liked that vibe. I liked that it felt loose. I liked that it felt like I'm gonna write a song and put it on an album. Um,
Yeah, I like the melody. I like the verse melody a lot.
so the next song is I gave that song There She Blows. I gave it a 6.8 out of 10. Love Is a Rich Man. The song pissed me off.
Really?
I'll tell you why. Um, I don't agree. I don't
That
agree with the
loves a rich
title.
man?
Yeah, that's not a saying. No one says that. That's not a no. I mean, maybe in Manchester. Maybe like weird old ladies in Manchester go, "Oh, remember, no love's a rich man," or whatever. Or maybe it's just a saying you made up for the song. But I don't know. I didn't read the lyrics when I worked out, and all I really made out from it was "Love is a rich man," like the tagline of the song. And I was like, I don't agree with that. That's fucking stupid. And then I kind
Yeah.
of, but like I thought the music was okay. Um, I also felt like this was like an AI generated Noel Gallagher song for his new album. Like if I typed in the prompt, write a Noel Gallagher song, but make it sound like it's for his new album, a
Yeah.
lot of these songs, maybe 8 out of 12 of these songs would have been shitted out by an AI machine.
Hmm. So
I
what did
felt
you
like me and you wrote this whole Noel Gallagher album in like 2 nights for him, and like didn't review our work and just sent it to him.
what did you give this rating?
I gave "Love Is a Rich Man." I gave it a 5.5 out of 10.
Really? So that's your lowest rated out song. So, oh no, besides Council Skies. So that's your
Yeah,
second.
Council Skies was totally forgettable and average.
So I was a little bit more generous on this. I said it's 60 sounding and then turns into a boring Bowie song. But I did like the guitar on the bridges. But my biggest problem was the song writing itself was boring. Like
Yeah, the
it,
song was boring.
yeah. So I gave it a 6.2 out of 10.
So the next song is "Think of a Number." I don't remember the song either, so I'm gonna play the intro so I can. This is why you got to take notes. If I don't take notes, I don't remember what my opinions are on some of these songs. You could say what your notes are.
Verses remind me of a new U2 song that I don't like. Well, not a particular one. Like if they wrote a
That
song
was
that
my
I
takeaway.
was it really?
My takeaway when I heard the song was, why is Noel Gallagher trying to write U2 songs now? Maybe he's been spending too many nights in like Milan getting drinking wine with Bono.
That yeah, I immediately thought of U2. Um, I didn't like the chorus too much. I liked the verses because they were kind of U2 verses. Um, Noel played bass on it. Really like the verses music, the different solos that they had a lot. There's different solos like after each thing. I really like that guitar work and then the key work, and then there was like cool background vocals. Um, but again, this song isn't telling me anything. So I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that. And just very like all right, Noel, whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna get there in the end. I feel like this is a song that I want to like more than I do. The song is I feel like this is a song that I really wish I liked more, but I feel like he needed an Alex Turner or someone else in the room that could have maybe made these lyrics a little bit more critical. They're
Yeah,
super on the nose, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with what he's saying, but it just feels all a bit too easy for someone like Noel.
yeah.
I love the message. I really like the music. I like the song. I think the lyrics were a little below average, so I gave this song 7. I gave this song. I'm gonna say I gave the song an 8 out of 10. I really did like this song.
All right, so I was definitely more appreciative of the song. Um
You more than an 8 out of 10?
yeah, but it's not higher than not too much higher. Um I said he already wrote the best Pixar song ever, but then he failed to write the best Disney song. It is a very nice closer. The strings, guitars, vocals, and lyrics are as happy as Noel's ever been. And the fact that he wrote it for COVID and then like played it online for I didn't know this. I didn't see it. But apparently he wrote it during COVID and like played it online for people and
Hmm.
everyone loved it. So he like finished and put it on as the closer for the album. So like he actually did write it not as like a Noel Gallagher sitting around going, yeah, I should be cheerful for
That's
this,
probably
whatever.
why I like it more, and I gave it an 8
Yeah.
because
Well,
it does have a lot of meaning to it.
I gave it an 8.4. I thought it was a
Oh,
really
okay.
nice closer. And the second
So
best song on the album.
so I do we want to move in closing remarks?
Yeah.
John, did you give the album a rating?
Yes. So I actually just averaged out my score, but it's a little off because I changed my mind twice on here on the fly. So it's actually probably closer to 6.5 out of 10 for the album. My notes were starts slow and has forgettable tracks, especially for his standard, but also has a few of his best solo songs. You can't you can tell he's trying to expand himself musically, but um, sometimes it sounds and feels unfocused.
I agree with everything you said. Um, yeah, I gave the album the same rating basically. I maybe have been a little worse on it. For me, it's a 6. There's a lot of strong songs in there. Um, I'm sure if I keep listening to the album, the 6 would probably turn into a 7. Because it is Noel, and there's a lot of great stuff with Noel. And the songs I like, I'll probably like more, and maybe one or two songs I'm not a big a fan of right now, I'll like more. Um, I felt like these are the conclusions I drew from this album. This is Noel goes cinematic. This is Noel goes fulfills his dreams with his strings and horns and all that stuff. He just went as far as he wanted to go in this
Yeah,
direction. Um, he probably felt like this was his most Sergeant Peppery album he ever did. Um, but the problem was this album could have used, an all-time producer, somebody in there with a someone that could have told him no on and it was an equal collaborator, and it could have I mean, let's just be real. When he's putting out albums like this that are overall as unfocused and as emotionless and at times as dry as this was, um, also could have used a better mixing, like a different mix too. I did not like the mix on the album. I wasn't a big fan of the engineering. It sounded too mucky. It's of course it's going to sound great in the studio with his a $250,000, millions of dollars of equipment that he has. It's going to sound great when he's listening to it in the control room. But listening to it in my AirPods, it didn't sound great. I listened to jazz music in the '80s. It sounds better than this album. I think our songs that me and you just do by ourselves, sound better than some of the songs on this album. Um,
I
Now that's
drinking and work,
taste.
drinking and work definitely does.
I agree. And I was listening to in the car all my way just driving home just now. I was listening to All My Heart. That sounds better than a lot of the songs on this album too. Um, And I was disappointed. I've been a little disappointed in Noel. We've talked about it before on the podcast and on Monday Mac. Um, I think he could do better. I think he needs his brother. I think he should take about 3 or 4 years off, and I think he should hit the studio with Noel or with Liam. And I think they should get a real producer, and they should get a real great band. They should get Zach Starkey back, and they should do a real Oasis album.
Yeah.
Or I think he should just. I don't think he's aspiring for greatness the way he was before when he was younger, which is fine. He's older now. He's a musician. He writes songs that he enjoys, and he puts them out, and he goes and he tours. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. It just doesn't feel as fresh, maybe, as some of his older stuff did. It feels
Yeah.
very old. It feels very tired. It was a very tired album to me.
Yep. With that being said, we're gonna go see him in July. We're probably gonna have a beautiful time.
Yes. Well, let's
Uh,
be real. It's still Noel Gallagher. He's still one of the greatest artists of all time. He's still, if you know, probably in the top three influential songwriters in both of our lives. So it's like, yeah, of course. There's how many shitty Paul McCartney songs and albums there are that he put out, and he's the most influential musician in pop history and rock history.
yep.
There's a ton. The fact that Noel put out three great songs, I anything I rate over an 8, I consider great. The
Yeah.
fact that he put out three, to me, great songs in 2023, I would say that's a success in and of itself.
I want to
But
see
with
how.
that being said, if you want to hear success, just go listen to Drinkin In Work. It makes you, it sounds successful. It makes you feel successful.
It actually, seriously, when you have a couple drinks in work, you lower your stress level, you get more confident. You go ask your boss for that raise. You go break into the vending machine. You know,
You
you,
take a shit in the wrong bathroom and don't
you
even know it,
steal all the pens and flush them down the toilet.
and
That's
soup Vic.
what you do, and 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 that's success. Sometimes when you work in a specific an unspecific casino and you drink and work, you steal things from the lost and found off camera, and then you gift them to your mother. It's what happens sometimes, and you need to do it. And the best soundtrack to doing it is "Drinking and Work" by the Mack Brothers.
Yes, I agree.
Um,
The best thing to do before you listen to Council Skies and after listening to Council Skies is listening to Drinking at Work.
yep. All right. Let's
I
stop.
do feel like it is a bit of an Oasis song. Just saying, I do feel like it has a lot of Oasis, like a lot of, some might say, vibes to it sometimes.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone for listening / watching. Like and subscribe, and see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.